Back everyone, we're going to be doing another comparison, full in-depth one for the most part, between the iPhone SE 2020 that's on the left and the iPhone 6 that is on the right. Now before I get too deep in this comparison, just know I am giving away an iPhone SE 2020, the product red one. Hopefully you guys like it. I already unboxed the white one. I was going to give this one away, but whatever, it doesn't matter. If you want to enter, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All those links will be down in the description below, so you can check them out from there. I'll be picking the winner on May 8th, but that's enough of that plug. The SE 2020 is Apple's brand new, not flagship, but budget phone. This is like the bottom tier phone you can get for the most part, and I think it's a good inclusion to the whole entire lineup. And for sure, if you have an iPhone 6, if you currently own an iPhone 6 and you're using it, going to an iPhone SE 2020 is going to be worlds different. It's going to be a completely different experience. They might look exactly the same for the most part, but for sure, at the end of the day, if you use the SE 2020 coming from an iPhone 6, you'll notice how much faster, how much smoother the experience is, and just how much better of a phone you're going to be getting on an SE 2020 over a 6 any day. Now looking on the front, they both have the exact same type of panel for the most part, but the SE2's is even better here. They have 4.7-inch panels, 750 by 1334. You have pretty much the same type of panel on both. One isn't crazy better than the other one, but the SE 2020's panel can get brighter, which is really cool. But on top of that, you have True Tone technology on the SE2, and you have haptic feedback, which I think you have haptic feedback kind of on the SE2. Actually, you don't, because this phone didn't get iOS 13, so I guess this one didn't even come with any haptic feedback thing. Well, that was weird. The SE 2020 has that, which is really cool, so it's kind of finicky, kind of weird to do it with two hands, but you can go ahead and tap it, and you can kind of maneuver with it a little bit, but this one has haptic feedback, which is cool. You also have that True Tone technology, which is really awesome, so it kind of warms that display at the end of the day, which is really cool. So if you go and outside, it'll warm the display a little bit more, and that's definitely one of my favorite features of having one of these newer iPhones. You have that capability of having True Tone display, which is honestly, like I said before, one of my favorite things for sure. The way they feel in the hand, the SE2 feels more premium as well because of the glass on the back, which I'll get into in a second. And the SE2 seems a little bit heavier, I think, maybe not by much, but maybe it's just a little, maybe it's the glass, I don't know. But in terms of everything else, they look almost exactly the same. On the bottom, you can see lightning ports, but the iPhone 6 does have that headphone jack, which some people might like, some people might care, some people might not even care, but that is something to consider on the iPhone 6, so I think that's kind of cool. And on the back, you can see we have single camera setups on both, and pretty different design language. So the iPhone 6 had that aluminum design all the way around, and it doesn't feel cheap or anything. It still feels pretty good, but definitely when you compare it to the glass on the back that's on the SE2, this one feels much more premium. Not only that, but you also have wireless charging on this phone too, which is really cool. You have single camera setups on both, but the SE2's camera is better at the end of the day, and that really pretty much covers it up in the outside. The SE2 does have IP certification, IP67 dust and water resistance. The iPhone 6 does not have anything like that. Even looking at the thickness, or the thinness for that matter, they both seem about the same thinness as well, which is really good. So you're not going to go and upgrade and hope that you have like a better looking phone or a skinnier phone or anything like that. That's not going to happen. They're both almost exactly the same at the end of the day. So in terms of the outside, that really pretty much covers it. Now hitting on the software, this is a super interesting thing. So the iPhone 6, actually I'll start with the SE2. This phone, is starting with iOS 13. It's going to be getting many years of support. It's just getting started. It's literally in its first year of support, and these things last forever. So you can pick up this thing now and it'll last you for many years from now. So you won't even have to worry about this phone. Whereas on the iPhone 6, this phone was supported for a pretty long time, but it's unsupported right now. It started off with iOS 8. We were able to get iOS 12 on it, and right now it's on that security update phase. So we got like iOS 12.4.2 and 12.4.3 and stuff like that, but we have not gotten like the next full OS version, so we have not gotten like iOS 13 or anything like that. So it's not like a crazy big deal, but it's something that we should have expected. So for sure, at the end of the day, the iPhone 6 is not getting, it's not lasting as long as the SE2. But the cool thing with the iPhone 6 is that we do have jailbreaking support, so we can actually go and jailbreak this phone if we need to with that checkpoint jailbreak, which is really cool. There's no jailbreak out for the SE2 yet, but at the end of the day, for sure, the iPhone SE2 will outlast the iPhone 6 by a long period of time. So in terms of that pretty much covers the software aspect, and I'll be doing a speed test. I might do a full in-depth speed test if you guys want to see it. I mean, I don't know how many people are going to watch this video, but if you guys want to see it, I'll go ahead and drop it. It's totally up to you guys, but I'll tell you the specs first. The iPhone 6 had that Apple A8 chip, a dual-core CPU, and 1 gig of RAM, where the iPhone SE 2020 had that Apple A13 Bionic chip, hexa-core CPU, and 3 gigs of RAM. So we're having 2 more extra gigs of RAM on this version where we don't have it on this one. So let's go and see which one is the better performing phone at the end of the day. Alright, let's go and start loading these apps up. Let me make sure everything's closed out in the background, and this phone is not. Okay, all apps are closed. Let's load the App Store. 3, 2, 1. And definitely the SE2 was faster. Still loading on the iPhone 6. And you can see that one was quite a bit of difference. This is going to be a pretty long comparison, I think. I'm just going to go straight into these third-party apps. This is going to be a very long comparison. Twitter, 3, 2, 1. Already loaded on the SE2. And iPhone 6 taking its time, and eventually we are into it on the iPhone 6. Facebook, 3, 2, 1. As you can see, iPhone SE2 is already loaded, and iPhone 6 eventually got into it. We'll just do Instagram, 3, 2, 1. Okay, cool. Snapchat, 3, 2, 1. And SE2 is definitely faster. As you guys saw, that one was way faster. Netflix, 3, 2, 1. And as you can see, SE2 is already loaded. Eventually we are loaded on the iPhone 6. Paper Out 2, 3, 2, 1. And iPhone SE2 is already loaded. And the iPhone 6 is probably going to be loaded at some point. And one thing I want to show you guys is actually the gameplay. So if we get into the gameplay, you'll see how much smoother it is on the SE2. Come on. It took even so long to even get into the loading panel. And you guys can kind of see how glitchy it is on the iPhone 6. That thing is super glitchy. It's unbelievable. On the SE2, it's much more bearable in my opinion. Let's do the tempo run. 3, 2, 1. And we're in a game on the iPhone SE2. I don't know if we're in a game on the 6. I guess there's a chance we might be. This thing is taking so long to load, it's insane. Okay, we're finally into it, and we weren't in a game, but I'm not even going to redo this one because the SE2 is going to beat it by a long shot. Real Racing 3, 3, 2, 1. Hopefully this one is downloaded, and another thing you'll see is that even once you tap the game, it's almost instantaneous on the SE2, where the iPhone 6 was much slower, and we have to download it, of course. We'll just let that one slide. You can do Quizlet, 3, 2, 1. Again, faster on the iPhone SE2, and this isn't even that big of an app, which is kind of funny that there's this big of a difference even on this one. There we go. Snake versus Blocks, 3, 2, 1. And as you guys can see again, sorry I was stretching. Yeah, SE2 faster again. 6 eventually get into it. I mean, this is some pretty big differences between these two for sure. Gameplay, and maybe the SE2 will be somewhat faster. They're about the same when it comes down to it. Blend it off with Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. Now they're on 2 different versions of the game, but the only thing that changes is the skin. The loading and everything is going to be exactly the same whether you're on one version or the other for the most part. And as you can see, SE2 is already loaded through pretty far into it, and the iPhone 6 is still taking its time. It's okay. We can already, play the game if we want to. But this is pretty crazy. It's pretty intense in my opinion. We're almost loaded on the SE on the iPhone 6. And yeah, even to get into it was a little of a glitchy experience. So what I can tell you, dude, is for sure the iPhone SE2 is the faster phone at the end of the day. You're going to be getting a much better speed, much better experience overall. Yeah, if you keep your iPhone 6, maybe you can get a couple more months out of it, but going to an iPhone SE2 will be a super smart experience in terms of just the speed that you'll be gaining from that. So for sure, the SE2 has my heart and my seal of approval. Now let's go and hit on the cameras, but I'll talk about them very briefly like I stated before. I'll do separate camera comparisons if you guys want to see it, but we have a single 8 megapixel camera on the iPhone 6, but a 12 megapixel camera on the SE2, and for sure at the end of the day, there's no reason to talk about it for 40 minutes. The SE2 has the better camera sensor between these two. You're able to do 4K at 60 on the SE2, where you can't even do 4K on the iPhone 6. You can do portrait mode and all those cool little things where we're kind of limited on the iPhone 6 for sure. So what I'll tell you is the camera on the SE2 is far superior than the camera on the iPhone 6. The iPhone 6 camera still isn't horrible, but definitely in this day and age, it's good to have a camera that can shoot 4K at any frame rate, whether that's 30 or 60 or whatever. So, and on the front, the iPhone 6 has a 1.2 megapixel sensor here. The iPhone SE2 has a 7 megapixel sensor, and between both, definitely the SE2 is going to be better. You have 1080p capability on the SE2. We can only do 720p on the iPhone 6, so not a crazy big difference, but again, you're going to be noticing better photos and better everything from the front camera on the SE2 than the front camera on the iPhone 6. Now let's end it off with battery life. The iPhone 6 has a 1,810 mAh battery. The iPhone SE 2020 has a 1,821 mAh battery. And between both, honestly, if they were both at the 100% capacity, maybe the iPhone 6 would have better battery life because this phone is super underclocked. It doesn't have crazy features like the iPhone SE 2 has. But still, with the A13 chip, it's still pretty fast and everything. But as of right now, I'm definitely getting better battery life on my SE 2, mainly because my iPhone 6's battery is, kind of not at that full 100%. It's like 80%, I think, or something like that. So definitely, I would say maybe right now the SE2 might have the better battery life, but it's not like one's going to overtake the other by a crazy amount. However, SE2 does have wireless charging, which is technically a battery feature, so I go and add that in, and definitely the SE2 wins. Now to kind of sum up the video, man, for sure at the end of the day, like I stated before, getting an SE2 will help you improve you so much. It's like worth the money by 10 times. I would definitely recommend it if you're in the market or whatever. Picking up an iPhone SE2 is a smart choice over an iPhone 6 any day of the week. It's not like a necessity, it's not like you have to go or anybody's forcing you, but definitely at the end of the day, keeping your iPhone 6 for a little bit longer isn't that bad of an option either. But if I were you, I would probably end up picking up an iPhone SE2. So that's really pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys would check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.